welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now, of course, no member of Congress should wait for Obama. Don't hold your breath waiting for Obama, but start pushing some of these measures through the House, most likely. You'll have to have a discharge petition against Pelosi, but there is now at least some kind of window of opportunity on these things. The health care bill in its current form momentarily blocked. Let's make it permanently blocked. The monstrous cap-and-trade measure seems to be more or less permanently dead. But, of course, zombies do come back. That's already a great deal. So thanks to the citizens of Massachusetts for making that possible. And again, in the Leibnizian world, even evil does good. So the Scott Brown campaign has accomplished something of importance. It forces a crisis in the Wall Street lockstep of the Democrats. In other words, the Wall Street puppet regime of Obama, Pelosi, and Reid is in crisis. The things we need: stop Bernanke, fire Geithner, fire Summers, and their entire entourage, Shapiro at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and all the rest of them, and get some economic populist reformers in the New Deal tradition in there, and we will fare better. If you don't do this, notice that the guy who made Scott Brown great is none other than Mitt Romney, the Wall Street hedge fund hyena and asset stripper, who was very much in evidence at the Scott Brown party. That is the guy who essentially counseled him and gave him the consultants that he needed and so forth. And if they prevail, if Obama continues on his present course and the cultural populists are allowed to prevail, you're headed towards Bonapartism, I would say. That is to say, a regime, a Republican ticket in 2012 of General Petraeus and Mitt Romney. So General Petraeus, this would be Bonapartism. This would be a regime that would lean on the bureaucracy, the army, the intelligence services, and so forth. It would not yet be an out-and-out fascist regime, but it would be something like von Hindenburg, right? Field Marshal von Hindenburg in Germany is the guy who opened the door for Hitler in 1933, and this is the sort of thing you would get. Then under that kind of a regime, a fascist or Nazi mass movement might then grow under Depression conditions, because these people are incapable of doing anything to fight the Depression. Remember, we know from the programmatic discussions in Germany, 30, 31, 32, if you don't bring down unemployment, democratic institutions cannot survive. In order to bring down unemployment, you've got to break the power of Wall Street, fight them, make them pay for the recovery, cut them down to size, and so forth. And then if you can begin to address unemployment, you might be able to save democratic institutions. Otherwise, the situation is very grim. But, again, the Constitution of the U.S., the federal system, have proven at least a certain viability. So there's some reason to redouble one's efforts. Zuckerman and his National Infrastructure Bank, no good. I would point you to something like the Texas T-Bone. Let's think of about a high-speed rail system, and I guess this is from, from Dallas-Fort Worth through Austin and then further south, and then it splits off and goes over to Houston, and indeed it ought to go to Galveston too. And that hooks up with the Amtrak system, and that's the kind of stuff you need. Start with those proposals, right? You want to use state governments. That's what we need, and there were hearings about that in the Congress a couple of months ago. The Texas T-Bone, the Purple Line here in Washington, the light rail to Dulles Airport, the Corridor Cities light rail. Every place in the U.S. has some kind of light rail, fast rail, maglev rail, interurban rail. This is the kind of thing that leads to a recovery. So, as I recommend, program for endangered Congress people, make Wall Street pay. 1% Tobin tax on all Wall Street financial transactions. Claw back the TARP. Reimpose Glass-Steagall. Well, we've got to step in that direction. How about that? Separate commercial banks, insurance, and stock brokerage. Outlaw credit default swaps. Outlaw adjustable rate mortgages. 10% federal usury law, that's the upper limit on credit card and payday loan interest rates. Stop all home foreclosures for 5 years or for the duration of the crisis. Seize the Federal Reserve. Make it a Bureau of the Treasury. Stopping Bernanke, a first step. Audit it. Sure, do that too. 0% credit, no longer for banks, but now let's try the opposite. 0% federal credit for industry agriculture, not speculation or financial services. Stop federal borrowing. Start federal lending. Massive program of infrastructure in the spirit of the Tennessee Valley Authority. 100 nuclear reactors of the most modern type. 1,000 modern hospitals, 500 beds each. 50,000 miles of maglev and high-speed rail. Rebuild the interstate highway system. Rebuild the water systems. Now, that's a permanent increase in the capital stock of the United States. It would change the lives of hundreds of millions of people in a positive way. They could see something going on. And, man, the stimulus bang for the buck out of that is huge. The goal, 30 million new productive jobs at union wages, well-paid, productive jobs, 30 million of them. Full employment for the first time since 1945. And the only thing you've got to do is sacrifice Wall Street interest. Helps also to shut down the zombie banks. Instead of subsidizing them to stay alive, you got to remember Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Mellon, Wells Fargo perform no useful social function. They issue derivatives. They rip you off on fees, and they drive up the price of gas and other things with their proprietary trading. So at least one step, shut them down in the proprietary trading department. Now, on Haiti, I call your attention to actually two things I've written in the last week. One is the Haiti emergency, which I didn't have time to devote sufficient attention to, but that's prominently displayed on the website. One of the things I call for there is a cancellation of Haiti's foreign debt. Debt moratorium, debt cancellation. And this has been done. Italy has canceled all debt owed by Haiti. The Paris Club has canceled all debt owed by Haiti. The IMF had to beat a hasty retreat. The IMF offered Haiti $100 million of loans. The outcry was so great that the IMF has now been forced to make it $100 million as a grant. The IMF giving Haiti. This is the first time the IMF ever gave anybody anything, as far as I can see. $100 million for Haiti. So the finance oligarchs are in retreat on this front as well. Human need trumps usury, debt, and the functioning of these despicable institutions. Now, in terms of the turning point, politically we've done it, but now we've got the combination of the PIIGS crisis, right, the pigs, Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, Spain, heading towards bankruptcy, the loan losses that are building up from foreclosures, credit card defaults, and other symptoms of unemployment, hitting J.P. Morgan Chase this past week. Goldman Sachs under attack because of and the others too, because of these rather timid Obama proposals. But even a very timid proposal takes the oomph out of Wall Street. Greece is feared to be near bankruptcy, at least in the sense of not being able to hold a sale of their treasury paper. Now, the Greeks have said they will have a treasury bond sale soon, but how that goes, and this has been dragging down the euro. The euro has fallen hard on the fear around Greece and the other countries in that PIIGS group. China has said that they're afraid of a credit bubble, and they're going to take measures to reduce that credit bubble. So this indicates, as some of these people on CNBC are saying, is that you've seen the top, that this post-crash bubble stoked with TARP money, 0% Federal Reserve, and the complaisance of the Sheila Bair regime at the FDIC is now over. So hold on to your hats. And again, time to get out there and agitate for economic populism. Stop Bernanke, fire Geithner, fire Summers, and that entire crew, and make a great U-turn. Anti-Wall Street economic populism rules the roost. And we'll see you next week.